The first time I summon a beast, an absurdly rare epic rank holy angel, I put it up for sale right there at the summoning ceremony for 10 million. The crowd thinks I am a total sucker. Because the moment the holy angel appears, it walks straight toward a rich kid, drops to one knee, and swears loyalty to him. Faced with this betrayal, I immediately put a 10 million price tag on it and let that rich kid buy it. I also demand the right to pick one beast from their guild as compensation. After all, a disloyal beast, no matter how powerful, will eventually get its tamer killed. Faced with this gift-wrapped opportunity, Apex Guild agrees without hesitation. Now, inside the Apex Guild beast shop, a staff member leads me to the third floor where beasts are kept. Containment units line the walls, housing creatures of every kind. Mr. Lux, she says with a polished smile, every beast on this floor is yours to choose from. I let my gaze sweep the room. My eyes move slowly across the hall. They land on a creature covered head to toe in crimson scales. My status panel flickers into view. Scale beast. Potential rank, elite, stage 1, level tier 1. I move on. The next one is a sleek snow-white demon wolf sprawled lazily inside its cage. Blizzard demon wolf. Potential rank, elite, stage 6, level tier 1. I take my time and walk the entire hall. By the end, my brow is tight. The vast majority of beasts here are stuck at common or elite rank. Heroic rank beasts are almost nowhere to be found, and the highest ranked one here is only a heroic stage 2 candle beast. This is far below what I had hoped for. Is this all there is? I stop and turn to the staff member. She keeps her smile steady. Yes, Mr. Lux, besides these, there are only the unsold beasts in the basement, the ones no one else wanted. Most have permanent defects that can't be healed. They're scheduled to be disposed of tomorrow. I nod. Since I'm already here, I'm not leaving until I've checked every corner. Take me down there. A flash of surprise crosses her eyes. Of course, please follow me. We head down to the basement. The beasts here are exactly as described. Some are hollow-eyed and listless, others visibly disabled. Their eyes are full of emptiness. I ignore all of it and keep moving with quiet patience. Then, just as I near the far end of the basement, my steps freeze. My gaze locks onto an unremarkable containment unit tucked in the corner. Inside is a bird-type beast. Feathers dull, spirit broken, curled up in the corner. Solar Blade Eagle. Potential rank, heroic stage 7. Level, tier 1. Negative status, severed talon. Banded crate venom poisoning. Growth suggestion. Storm tiger bone will heal the severed talon. 7-petal flower will cure the venom. My brow rises slightly. This Solar Blade Eagle's potential rank is better than I expected. Yes, it has a severed talon and poison running through it, but the panel spells out the cure clearly. Storm tiger bone and 7-petal flower are both fairly common materials, easy enough to find. Even with the cost of materials, this deal is guaranteed profit. I'd have a fully healed heroic stage 7 fighter. At this stage, that's about as good as it gets. My mind is made up. I'm just about to speak when the corner of my eye catches something deeper in the dark. A single energy cage, barely tall enough for a person, sits completely out of place among the larger containment units. I step closer. My pupils narrow slightly. A figure slumps weakly against the cold metal wall. A humanoid beast. In Apex Guild's basement of all places, there's actually a humanoid beast. Why is it locked up in here? And even stranger, the moment my eyes land on that figure, a deeply wrong sensation surges up from somewhere in my soul. Pure rejection. This feeling is anything but normal. As I draw closer, the beast seems to sense a stranger's presence. It slowly raises its head and glances at me, then drops it back down like it's been shocked. But in that brief moment, I finally see its face. Twisted, jagged markings cover every inch of it. Its original features completely unrecognizable. The staff member catches up and sees me stopped at the cage. Her expression is completely unfazed. That's a succubus, pulled straight from a dimensional rift. Looked like this when we found it. Nobody wants it. On top of everything, it carries a curse. Its level is permanently locked at tier 1. Tomorrow it gets destroyed along with the other rejects. She stares at the succubus with open disgust, but I am not listening. My heart is pounding like a war drum. A translucent status panel, visible only to me, blazes into existence before my eyes. Lilith. Thorn succubus. Bond status available. Potential rank, common. Sealed by curse. True rank epic stage 9. Currently under curse seal. Level, tier 1. Abyss stone can break the curse and elevate this beast's potential rank. The moment I read epic stage 9, my breath stops. So she's been cursed. Beauty that even gods would envy. Sealed away. This beast called Lilith has a true potential rank that reaches stage 19. One step away from legendary. This is the highest potential rank I have ever seen on any beast. That angel who betrayed me isn't even worthy of carrying Lilith's shoes. And the skill panel, absolutely stacked. 3 skills from the very start. More importantly, the beast panel shows exactly how to break the curse, and even maps out the path to keep pushing her potential rank higher. This means, if I buy this succubus and gather those materials, I can walk away with something close to a legendary rank powerhouse. The thought alone makes my breath come faster. She is exactly what I have been searching for, my partner. I turn to the staff member and say, I want this succubus. I'll take her now. Inside the cage, Lilith's frail body gives a sudden jolt. Is he talking about me? She snaps her head up and stares at the calm, handsome face before her, eyes wide with disbelief. Since the day she was born, the world has felt like nothing but endless malice closing in from every direction. She has gone numb. She stopped daring to hope that anyone would ever accept her. But now, this stranger, this young man, is pointing straight at her. He is willing to form a beast bond with her. The staff member's polished smile starts to crack. She wonders if she heard wrong. Mr. Lux, are you sure you want her? My answer comes without a second's pause. Absolutely. Get us a private room to form the bond. Now, the shock in her eyes deepens, but her professionalism kicks in. She doesn't ask another question. Right this way. She turns and leads us forward. Lilith follows, her body stiff and mechanical. The moment she is led out of the cage, her world falls into chaos. It isn't until they enter a quiet private room and the staff member removes her restraints that she finally snaps back to reality. She stares blankly at the young man standing before her. I have carried a curse since the day I was born. I cannot even raise my own level. Lilith forces herself to speak, her voice thick with struggle and fear. You have chosen me, but I cannot fight for you. I cannot bring you glory. Her voice catches me off guard. I never expected a beast with such a ruined face to have a voice like that. Soft, haunting, impossible to ignore. I know how to break your curse. Will you form a bond with me? Break the curse. Lilith's heart clenches like an invisible hand has seized it. From the moment you made your choice, my life has already been yours. Lilith's voice is barely above a whisper, but it carries absolute resolve. I say nothing more. A faint light gathers at my fingertip. I press it gently to Lilith's forehead. Light pulses. An ancient bond circle rises beneath both of them. Equal bond, formed. I immediately turn and call the staff member waiting outside. I need to purchase some materials. 1 feather of eternal night, 5 fangs of the inferno, and 2 abyss stones. The staff member's face goes even more pale than when I chose Lilith. All 3 items are extraordinarily rare and expensive, especially the abyss stones. They're among the rarest high-grade materials in existence. Mr. Lux, the combined value of these. Before he can finish, I slide my omni-terminal card across to him. 30 million should cover it. He stares at the balance displayed on the card, frozen. That's more than enough, Mr. Lux. Please give us a moment. I'll have everything ready immediately. His tone shifts, more respectful than it has ever been. Soon, 3 items radiating dark energy are carefully brought into the private room. It's just the 2 of us now, me and Lilith. Do as I say, start by absorbing the feather. My voice is calm and steady. It gives Lilith a surge of quiet confidence. She holds my gaze and nods deeply, then reaches out with trembling hands toward the feather of eternal night. The instant it touches her fingertips, it dissolves into a stream of black light and sinks into her body. Next come the fangs of the inferno, then the 2 abyss stones. The instant Lilith's hand closes around the final stone, everything changes. A violent energy shockwave erupts outward from Lilith at its center. The force slams me backward step by step until my back hits the cold wall. I lock my eyes on the center of the room. Purple-black threads pour out of Lilith's body, wild, endless. They weave together, layer over layer, until they form a massive dark cocoon that swallows her whole. The entire room fills with cold, suffocating dark energy. I stare at the cocoon. Saying I'm not nervous would be a lie, but according to the panel, this process should not only break Lilith's curse, but also restore her potential rank to its peak, and push it even further. This is the biggest gamble I have ever made. If it works, I will have a beast with limitless potential. Time drags on. Then suddenly, the violet energy flooding the room snaps back, rushing violently into the cocoon. A sharp crack rings out, and blinding golden light bursts through every crack in the cocoon. It shatters the darkness of the room in an instant. I suck in a sharp breath. Golden, legendary rank. As the cracks multiply, blinding gold blazes from every seam, flooding the private room like a second sun. Then, all at once, the cocoon explodes. Countless purple-black shards scatter in every direction, but dissolve in midair into pure particles of energy. The golden light doesn't last long. It pulls back just as quickly, replaced by something deeper, darker, a richer, more powerful purple-black aura. An invisible energy pulse tears straight through the ceiling and vanishes into the void above. At the same moment, high atop the City Hall building, Mayor Blaze sits behind his wide desk, reviewing the summoning ceremony results from across the city's high schools. The next second, he shoots to his feet. He strides to the floor-to-ceiling window and fixes his sharp gaze on the Eastern District. Just moments ago, he caught a fleeting surge of terrifying energy, vast and bottomless as an ocean, leaving his mind unsettled long after it vanishes. Someone, get in here. His voice is a low, sharp command. The office door flies open immediately. A sharp-looking man in uniform strides in. Your orders, Mayor. Alert the City Guard Bureau immediately. Mayor Blaze's tone is iron. Keep a close eye on the Eastern District. Investigate any and all anomalies, especially any signs of a dimensional rift opening. The subordinate obeys at once and exits in quick strides. The office falls silent, just Mayor Blaze alone. His expression is dark enough to storm. An energy reaction of this magnitude has only 3 possible causes. First, a new, unknown dimensional rift has appeared nearby. Second, a sovereign rank entity has descended. Third, a legendary rank beast has been born. A sovereign rank warrior is a figure watched and revered across the entire nation. Every single one of them is tracked and monitored. In the 10 years since Blaze was posted to Linyuan, he has never seen a legendary rank beast. A mid-sized city like Linyuan, even an epic rank beast is a once-in-a-lifetime event. As for legendary rank, Blaze cannot make sense of it. He turns back to the unfinished report on his desk. Back in the private room, the last trace of the energy wave finally fades away. A strange, heavy silence falls. My eyes stay locked on the center of the room. My heartbeat fills the silence like thunder. The light fades. A figure stands quietly before me. Even with everything I have lived through, my composure shatters completely. 2 words flash instantly through my mind. Breathtaking. Every brutal thorn scar that once covered Lilith's body has vanished without a trace. In their place, skin is smooth and luminous as white jade. She wears a form-fitting purple-black gown that traces every stunning curve of her figure. Her jet-black hair falls like a waterfall down her back. 2 slender horns rise from either side of her head, marking her as a demon. That face, otherworldly, almost too beautiful to be real, is framed by a pair of cat-like eyes gazing quietly at me. Every shift of her gaze carries an effortless, natural allure. Behind her, a pair of enormous, magnificent purple-black butterfly wings fan slowly open and closed. Each beat scatters a fine shimmer of glowing scales into the air, hauntingly ethereal. Compared to the broken, disfigured creature from before, this is a completely different being. But what truly makes my pulse surge is this. After the transformation, Lilith's status panel has changed beyond recognition. Lilith, Witch of the Night. Potential rank, Legendary, Stage 1, Level Tier 1. Growth suggestion. Consuming Pearl of Eternal Night, Infernal Springwater, and Nightmare Crystal can elevate this beast's potential rank further. I stare at those blazing words, Legendary Stage 1, and slowly exhale, nearly 30 million on the line, and I walk away with a legendary rank beast. Absolute jackpot. While I'm still staring at the panel in a daze, Lilith moves. She drifts silently to stand right in front of me. A faint, almost ghostly fragrance reaches me. Those breathtaking eyes hold my gaze with an intensity that seems to want to burn my image into the very depths of her soul. Then, she raises one slender finger, pale as jade, and presses it gently to her own forehead. A thread of eerie purple-red energy appears between her fingers. Before I can understand what she's doing, Lilith presses it gently to my forehead. In an instant, a sensation rises through me. One-sided, undeniable, absolute, total control. With a single thought, I can decide Lilith's life or death. My heart seizes. I snap my eyes to the panel. In the status bar, the equal bond I formed with Lilith has silently become a slave bond. The shock hits me like a wave. I have no idea why she did this. Lilith doesn't explain right away. She steps forward and lets herself fall into my arms. A voice, warm, soft, trembling just slightly, whispers at my ear. Master, from the moment you chose me in that cold, dark basement, nothing else in this world matters anymore. You pulled me out of endless darkness and despair. My life, everything I am, is a gift you gave me. Lilith rests her cheek softly against my shoulder. Her voice carries a deep, quiet peace. So please, accept all of it. I go completely still. My heart slams like it's been struck by something massive. A warmth I can't put into words rises from somewhere deep inside me. I think back to the angel who betrayed me in front of everyone. I think of her inborn arrogance, the cold indifference she showed when she walked away, like it was the most natural thing in the world. So not every beast in this world is like that. So this is what real loyalty feels like. This burning, this pure and absolute devotion. What Lilith has done moves me in a way nothing ever has. A sincerity and trust I have never felt before. This absolute faith, heavy and real, stirs something in me I can't hold back. I slowly raise my hand and rest it gently on Lilith's back. She feels it. She holds me a little tighter. Master, from this day forward I will cut through every thorn in your path. I will clear every obstacle before you. I look down at the stunning face in my arms, and a smile, completely genuine, pulls at the corner of my mouth. Welcome, Lilith, my first partner. When I walk out of the upper floor with Lilith, the entire hall goes quiet. Every pair of eyes, staff and customers alike, are pulled to Lilith without even trying. Their faces fill with awe and shock. Oh my, who is she? Is that his beast? She's unreal. The staff member who had first attended to me stands nearby, now completely frozen. She stares at the breathtaking figure walking behind me, her mind completely blank. That was the hideous broken succubus from the basement? How is that possible? But the truth is right in front of her. She has no choice but to believe it. At this point, all she can manage is a smile stiffer than a funeral mask. She hurries over anyway. Mr. Lux, your paperwork has been completed. You're free to leave whenever you'd like. I nod. I don't bother with the stares. I walk straight out of the guild with Lilith at my side. Only after I disappear through the doors does the staff member snap back to reality. She rushes to her terminal and dials Chairman Song as fast as her hands will allow. Chairman, something has happened. On the other side of the city, at the Song family estate, Victor Song listens to the staff member's report. His brow furrows slightly. You're saying the succubus has recovered her appearance? Without a doubt. I saw it with my own eyes. She's even more beautiful than the angel you brought back. A flicker of surprise crosses Victor Song's eyes. Then his furrowed brow slowly relaxes. So she recovered her looks. So what? Common potential rank. A level that can never grow. All looks, no bites, still just trash. He ends the call and glances at the angel currently absorbing materials to grow stronger. He shares this as a joke, and Zane listens with a sneer. Wait, that broke nobody passed on all the elite and heroic beasts in our guild and picked a reject? Typical backwater nobody. He smirks. Good thing you came to me. Wasting an epic rank beast on that loser would have been a shame. Next to him, the angel, now named Frost by Zane, the holy angel now called Frost, hears the whole exchange and speaks in her usual cold, detached tone. Anyone who lets looks cloud their judgment will never become truly powerful. She tilts her chin up slightly, her icy blue eyes carrying deep contempt for her former tamer. So the human called Lux is exactly the kind of shallow fool who gets taken in by a succubus. Good thing she never formed a bond with him. Following a master like that would only taint the sacred glory of being an angel. Victor Song watches his son in the angel and gives a satisfied nod. Now that is the kind of vision and composure my son should have. Then his tone shifts, turning serious. The National Beast exam is 1 week away. This is your chance to make a name for yourself. For the next few days, take Frost into the novice realm and grind hard. Get her level up before the exam. You have an epic rank beast. The top spot on the novice realm leaderboard is yours. Zane smiles, confident and cruel. Don't worry, I'll show everyone who the top talent in Lin Yuan really is. By the time one person and one beast leave the guild, the sky is bleeding into dusk. I walk home with Lilith beside me. My home sits in an old residential block, small but kept clean, just a little empty. 3 years ago, my parents died on a mission to explore a dimensional rift. They left me and my sister Ren to take care of each other. Now Ren is studying far away in the capital, and this house has only me. I push the door open. That familiar emptiness washes over me. Sit wherever you like, this is your home now. Lilith doesn't move. She stands quietly in the entryway, eyes drifting across the simple furnishings, finally settling on my back. Home. The word feels foreign to her. From being born in darkness to being locked in a cage, she has never known what it means to belong somewhere. Until this young man appeared. After a simple dinner, my Omni terminal suddenly lights up. The name Ren pulses on the screen. I answer. A bright holographic projection shimmers to life in the middle of the living room. Hey, how did it go? The summoning ceremony is done. What potential rank is your first beast? Show me, come on. On the other end, Ren is even more excited than I am, firing off questions like rapid shots. I smile and turn slightly, angling the camera toward Lilith, who sits composed on the sofa. The moment Ren sees Lilith, her eyes go wide. A humanoid beast? Lux, your luck is absolutely insane. She's stunning. Lilith hears the compliment and responds with only a polite, composed nod, a quiet acknowledgement. Her eyes return to me almost immediately. Ren doesn't mind at all. She's just genuinely happy for her brother. This is great. With a humanoid beast on your side, you've got a real shot at the exam. Then her tone turns serious. Oh, the Novice Realm opens tomorrow. Don't miss it. The Novice Realm is a training ground set up jointly by the City Guard and the military. The Abyss creatures inside cap out at Tier 9. It's the best place for new beast tamers to level up fast. I listen quietly, my mind already turning. This world's level system runs 9 tiers. Having just formed my first beast bond, I'm not even close to Tier 1 yet. A complete beginner. So pushing myself to grow as fast as possible is the only thing that matters right now. Right, the Novice Realm only opens 3 days a year. A high leaderboard rank will also boost your exam score. But while you're out there killing creatures and stacking points, stay safe, you hear me? I look at the worry in her projected eyes and nod firmly. I know all of this. Don't worry, Ren. I've got it handled. We chat for a few more minutes before ending the call. The next morning, I arrive with Lilith at the entrance to the Novice Realm on the outskirts of the city. A massive spatial portal looms ahead. The area is already packed. Thousands of students who have just completed their first beast bonds crowd the space. Most of the newcomers are sticking close together in groups, hoping to improve their survival odds and efficiency inside the realm. The moment I appear with Lilith, we become the center of every eye in the crowd. Lilith's deep, elegant purple-black gown, paired with a face that could stop the world cold, pulls the attention of nearly every guy in the area. Invitations flood toward me all at once. Big shot, team up with us. We've got a heroic rank support beast. I don't even glance their way. I never planned to team up with anyone. Just as I'm about to step into line and enter the realm, a voice dripping with mockery cuts through from the back of the crowd. Well, isn't it that guy? What's his name again? Zane strides toward me through a cluster of followers, Frost walking at his side. The angel's wings are pristine and radiant, her expression full of cold arrogance. The glance she casts at me carries open contempt. Zane's gaze lingers on Lilith for a moment, a flash of awe and envy crossing his face, before being swallowed whole by sneering mockery. Don't be fooled by her, people. Zane raises his voice, throwing his words out to the crowd with exaggerated flair. Sure, that beast beside him is pretty to look at, but she's nothing more than a reject our Apex guild was about to destroy. Common potential rank, level permanently locked, all looks, no bite, a complete decoration. The words land like a grenade. The crowd erupts. The same people who were eagerly inviting me to their teams just moments ago now look at me completely differently. Shiny on the outside, hollow on the inside. People immediately begin to distance themselves from me. Watching the crowd's reaction, Zane's grin grows more satisfied by the second. He steps right up to me and gives Frost's wing a showy pat. See this? This is the beast a real talent deserves. And honestly, shouldn't I be thanking you? Without you, I'd never have bonded with something this powerful. Unlike some people picking up trash and calling it treasure. He leans in, dropping his voice so only I can hear, his tone laced with venom. You have no idea how eager Frost is with me. The two of us. Inseparable, far more enthusiastic than she ever was with you. I hold his gaze, calm as still water. Trading words is the most pointless thing in this world. I don't care, but Lilith does. A bone-chilling killing intent bleeds off her body. Her beautiful, cat-like eyes go dark and bottomless, locked onto Zane. I feel the shift in Lilith's emotions. I reach out and gently close my hand around her cool fingers. Her body gives a small shiver, and that near uncontrollable killing intent vanishes in an instant. She lifts her eyes to mine, the cold in them melting into something warm and still as a quiet lake. I say nothing. I just shake my head at her. Arguing with a fool is never worth it. Save the energy. Once we're inside the realm, we'll settle this with results and realm points. Lilith understands immediately. She stops giving Zane any attention and loops her arms lightly through mine, pressing her soft frame close against my side. Then she lets her gaze drift, barely, almost lazily, toward Frost standing behind Zane. The gesture says everything without a single word. This is mine. I try to pull my arm free, but she has a grip that won't let go. I try a few times and get nowhere. In the end, I just let it be. This moment hits Zane like a slap. His face turns an ugly, furious red. How is it possible? A broke nobody, a complete loser, gets to have a beast this stunning throwing herself at him, while his own epic rank angel, obedient as she is, keeps him at a cold, untouchable distance. I don't even glance back at him. I walk with Lilith toward the glowing realm portal. The instant I step through, solid ground returns beneath my feet, and the world around me is completely different. A cold, primeval forest stretches in every direction. The novice realm. Lilith scans her surroundings with sharp alertness, her purple-black wings drawing slightly inward to shield us both. She can already sense this forest is crawling with hostile presences. Let's move. My voice stays calm. I glance at the leaderboard on my Omni terminal, still blank. The realm's teleportation is completely random, and even groups often get split up. Right now, this area has only the two of us. We move at a steady, unhurried pace deeper into the forest. Lilith keeps her senses wide open, catching every rustle and shift around us. Then after about 10 minutes, I stop beside an unremarkable pile of scattered rocks. Lilith looks at me, puzzled. There's no creature presence here at all, not even the faintest energy signature. I don't explain, I just raise my hand and point at one rock among the pile, slightly darker than the rest. In my vision, a status panel visible only to me flickers clearly into view. Stone lurker, potential rank, common, level, tier 2, attack it. 3 words. Lilith has countless questions, but not a moment's hesitation. The air gives a faint hum. A massive pitch-black scythe wreathed in crimson light materializes in her hand. Skill, Scythe of Absolution, a scythe forged in the depths of hell, its blade wrapped in infernal crimson. Any wound it strikes cannot be healed or recovered for a fixed period of time. Lilith tightens her grip on the handle and steps forward like a phantom. The scythe carves a cold, sweeping arc straight through the dark rock. The blade meets no resistance, slicing clean through the hard stone like it's made of air. The cut is mirror smooth. Just as Lilith thinks she's only split a plain rock, everything shifts. A soft violet glow rises slowly from the cleaved stone, then dissolves into a stream of light and rushes into Lilith's body. A warm current floods through her. Experience points. That unremarkable rock was actually a creature. Lilith's pupils narrow slightly, and her mind stirs. Creatures like this, masters of disguise, are lethal traps for new beast tamers. They emit almost no detectable energy. Pure instinct alone can barely catch them. If one ambushes you, a single encounter could wipe out your whole team. But her master, Lilith turns to look at that calm, handsome face. His image rises even higher in her heart, more mysterious, more towering. Let's go. Time is short. I step forward again. The novice realm only runs 6 hours each day. If we want to grow fast, there is no time to waste. What follows, Lilith witnesses firsthand what it means to have an absolutely terrifying edge. Guided by my pinpoint-accurate targeting, Lilith's Scythe of Absolution barely stops moving. In less than half an hour, a surge of energy, many times denser than before, erupts from within Lilith. Tier 2. At the same moment, a stream of refined energy flows back through the bond, flooding into every part of my body. My mental power spikes, my physical strength and all 5 senses sharpen noticeably. I pull up Lilith's status panel. Lilith, Witch of the Night. Level, Tier 2. Strength, 55. Agility, 58. Constitution, 52. Spirit, 65. I stare at these numbers and feel a jolt run through me. That stone lurker at Tier 2 had a max Constitution stat of 16. Lilith, at the same level, has stats more than 3 times higher across the board. This is what legendary potential rank actually means. Time tears past. 3 hours in, the realm has shifted around us. The trees are thicker now, and the energy in the air is heavier and wilder. We've reached the mid-zone of the realm. Along the way, more than 70 creatures have fallen to Lilith's scythe. My realm points have climbed near the top of the leaderboard. Master, something powerful ahead. Lilith stops suddenly, her expression turning sharp. I've already spotted it through the panel. Not far ahead, in a stretch of murky swampland, lurks a shadow colossus serpent. Potential rank, elite, stage 9. Level, tier 7. A tier 7 elite creature. The highest level creature we've faced since entering the realm. Something like this is practically unbeatable for new beast tamers at this stage. Can you handle it? I look at Lilith. Not a trace of fear shows on Lilith's stunning face. Instead, she lets the tip of her tongue brush lightly across her deep red lips. Clearing the path for you, master, is my honor. The words barely leave her mouth before she vanishes. In the next instant, she reappears at the edge of the swamp, dozens of meters away. In the murk below, a serpent as wide as a barrel, covered in dark green scales, wrenches its massive head upward. Its crimson, slit-like eyes fix on Lilith. Its jaws open wide. A jet of dark green venom blasts out like a high-pressure stream, sizzling the air wherever it passes. Lilith moves like a ghost, sidestepping the blast with effortless ease. She sweeps one slender hand, and several thorn vines crackling with eerie purple light shoot out from the void behind her like a net from the sky, coiling tight around the shadow colossus serpent's massive body. The thorns drive deep into the serpent's flesh. Skill. Thorns of Agony. Any unit bound or pierced by the thorns suffers continuous bleeding and poison effects. The serpent lets out an agonized shriek, thrashing and twisting violently, but it cannot break free even slightly. Lilith's figure appears above the serpent's head. No one saw her move. She raises the Scythe of Absolution high, eyes cold as death, and the pitch-black blade comes down with the force of something that cuts through all things. A massive serpent head launches into the air. It tumbles twice in midair and crashes into the swamp with a heavy splash. The enormous headless body convulses for a moment, then goes completely still. A dense orb of energy surges out of the serpent's corpse and pours entirely into Lilith. The aura radiating from Lilith climbs sharply, powerful waves of energy rippling outward in all directions. Tier 6. At the same moment, an even purer stream of feedback energy flows into my body through the bond. I can feel it clearly. My mental power and physical strength stepping up another level. I check the realm points on my terminal. 25,000 points. First place on the leaderboard. But this is nowhere near enough. Points are just a bonus to me. Grinding and leveling up, that's what actually matters. Deeper. I don't pause for even a second, moving with Lilith further into the realm. Elsewhere, deep in the realm's vast open plains, Zane crouches behind a cluster of jagged rocks, eyes gleaming as he stares at a large cave nearby. Inside, a creature the size of a small hill, covered in dark red mane, lies sound asleep. Blood Rage Lion. Potential rank Elite, Stage 9. Level, Tier 7. And behind the lion, deep inside the cave, several unusual plants glow with a faint red light, swaying in the cave's breath. Blood blooms. 3 of them. Zane's breathing quickens. His eyes flood with greed. Blood blooms. A rare material that massively boosts the strength stat of any beast below Tier 9. Priceless on any market. Frost. Go in there and grab those flowers. Zane hisses the order. The angel's ice-blue eyes flicker with hesitation. She can sense the raw power coiled inside that lion. If it wakes, the consequences would be unthinkable. Go, now. What are you afraid of? Seeing her hesitate, Zane's face twists with impatience and cruelty. You're an epic rank angel. You're scared of an elite rank animal? Don't forget who saved you from that loser and gave you a real chance. You dare disobey my order? Frost's wings tremble slightly. In the end, she submits. She pulls in all her holy light and slips into the cave like a white shadow, completely silent. Zane waits outside, heart hammering. Seconds later, Frost reappears. All 3 blood blooms are in her hands. Zane's face erupts with wild joy, but just as he moves to slip away quietly, everything explodes. A deafening roar tears across the entire plain. The Blood Rage Lion is awake. Its beast eyes lock onto Zane and Frost. Murderous rage rolls off it like a physical wave. Its treasure has been stolen, and it is furious. Get me out of here! Run! Zane is out of his mind with terror. He screams at Frost over and over. She grabs him by the shoulders immediately, beats her wings with everything she has, and the 2 of them streak away like a bolt of white light. The Blood Rage Lion roars, kicking up clouds of dust and charges after them without stopping. Faster, it's gaining on us! Zane feels the hot, bloody wind closing in behind him. The color drains from his face. He screams in a frenzy. Frost is already at her absolute limit, but she's carrying dead weight, and her speed takes an unavoidable hit as the lion closes the gap behind them. Something vicious and unhinged flares in Zane's eyes. Right at this life-or-death moment, Frost's cool voice reaches his ear. There's a human squad about a kilometer ahead. Zane blinks, then a burst of pure malice ignites behind his eyes. Perfect. Frost, lead that thing over there. Let them deal with it for us. Push hard. Finish off this pangolin, and we can break into the top 100. In the squad, a girl with a high ponytail and sharp clean features directs the battle with calm authority. She is Rain, my class president. Her team moves with solid coordination, closing in on a Tier 5 creature. Victory is close. Then, without any warning, a heavy stench of blood floods the air. Immediately after, the ground begins to shake violently. What is happening? Is that an earthquake? The squad's faces go pale. They all stop attacking. A violent unease surges through Rain. She snaps her head toward the source of the tremor and sees a streak of white light hurtling toward them at terrifying speed. Behind it, a massive dark red lion charges forward with overwhelming savage force. Run! Rain's pupils shrink to pinpoints. She screams, but it is already too late. The white streak passes directly over their heads and instantly accelerates away. The Blood Rage Lion dumps every ounce of its fury onto the squad, blocking its path. Defend! Now! Rain screams in desperation. Her beast, an ice-type Tier 3 black armor tortoise, throws itself to the front and raises a massive ice shield. But against a Tier 7 elite creature, it means nothing. The Blood Rage Lion swings one lazy paw. The solid ice shield shatters like glass. The tortoise lets out a pained cry and its huge body is sent flying, deep cracks splitting across its shell. Rain cries out in anguish. The other squad members unleash their beasts, skills blazing in every color, but all of it landing on the Blood Rage Lion doesn't even register as a tickle. One squad member fails to dodge in time and gets clipped, sent flying like a broken kite, instantly knocked unconscious. Despair swallows the squad whole. Rain stares at the lion as it closes in, her whole body gone cold, her legs barely holding her up. Is this it? Just as she squeezes her eyes shut and braces for the end, a calm, familiar voice reaches her ear. Lilith, attack. The words are barely out before several purple thorn vines materialize from thin air, snapping tight around the Blood Rage Lion's 4 limbs in an instant. The lion unleashes a furious roar, thrashing wildly, only to find the thorns hold with impossible strength. The harder it fights, the deeper the spikes drive into flesh. Rain's eyes fly open. Somehow standing right beside her is a tall, composed figure. And next to that figure, a woman in a form-fitting purple-black gown, magnificent butterfly wings spread wide behind her, holds a massive black scythe and walks calmly toward the trapped lion. It's you, Rain recognizes the person, but her mind is completely blank. She can barely think. The boy who barely existed in class, always quiet, always invisible, stands like a colossus right now. And his beast. In Rain's stunned gaze, Lilith raises the scythe of absolution high above her head, and the cold blade carves an arc of death. Clean, unstoppable. The massive lion's head, along with half its body, is split open in one brutal stroke. It dies on the spot. Meanwhile, at the Linyuan City Novice Realm Monitoring Center, inside a vast circular chamber, dozens of screens display live feeds and data streams from every corner of the realm. The atmosphere is suffocating, nearly frozen. Every one of the City Guard staff members in the room is rooted in place, eyes locked onto the central screen and the blazing data it shows. Leaderboard. First place. Lux. Realm points, 41,350. Potential rating, S rank. The standard threshold for S rank is 10,000 points. This student called Lux has more than 4 times that. A strange dead silence holds for a full 10 seconds. Am I seeing things? One young officer croaks, rubbing his eyes on instinct. How many years has it been since Linyuan last produced an S rank potential newcomer? The next second, the tension in the room detonates. It's really S rank. Pull up his file. Who is this guy? What's his beast? Got it. Records show his initial beast was a holy angel, but the bond failed. What? A failed bond? How does someone with a failed bond even get into the realm, let alone take first place? Wait, there's a supplemental record. He purchased a reject succubus from Apex Guild. The monitoring room erupts. Everyone's brain just crashes. A kid whose bond failed, who could only afford a reject beast, is somehow on an absolute rampage inside the novice realm. Director Ming sits at the main control station. His face, always composed, always unreadable, completely overwhelmed with shock. His gaze doesn't leave the screen, where the footage of Lux and Lilith cutting down the Shadow Colossus serpent and the Blood Rage Lion plays on repeat. No flashy tactics, just absolute total domination. The beast they called a reject. Every strike precise, lethal, elegant, and brutal all at once. Monster. Director Ming forces 2 words through his teeth. He shoves himself to his feet, face flushed with intense excitement. He's going to report this to Mayor Blaze immediately. He turns to his deputy and shouts. The deputy barely manages a reply before Director Ming waves him off. A light burns in his eyes unlike anything there before. I'll go to the realm entrance myself. Out on the plain, Rain stands in a daze, that single, earth-splitting strike still playing behind her eyes. The lion that drove her entire squad to the edge of death is simply gone. Everything she just witnessed has shattered everything she thought she knew. She slowly turns her stiff neck toward the figure standing before her. That back. How is any of this real? When did humanoid beasts, the kind you only hear about in stories, become this easy to get and this ridiculously powerful? The squad members around her look like they've been turned to stone, every face carved with disbelief. The only sound of the whole scene is the wind. Why are you spacing out? My voice, carrying a trace of amusement, breaks the silence. Rain snaps out of it, finally pulled back from the shock, and her cheeks flush instantly. Flustered, she manages, "Thank you. You saved us." Her voice is full of genuine gratitude. "Thank you, Lux. You literally saved our lives. You're a legend." The rest of the squad comes back to life all at once, everyone talking over each other to express their thanks. I wave it off. None of this matters to me. My eyes settle on Rain. "How did you end up pulling something that big?" At the question, Rain's expression ignites. "We have no idea," she says, voice tight with fury. "We were in the middle of taking down a pangolin, and then that lion just charged at us out of nowhere. I saw a figure in the sky, deliberately herding the lion straight toward us. Once we were tied up, that person just took off. Disgusting. Look like an angel," a squad member beside her adds. Rain's words catch hard in her throat. She seems to realize something. She looks up at me carefully. "Everyone at school knows Zane's beast is the holy angel that was taken from you." My expression doesn't waver, but anyone who knows me well might catch that brief flash of cold passing through my eyes. Zane, to save himself, didn't hesitate for even a second before redirecting danger straight at innocent classmates. Absolutely beneath contempt. I don't continue down that road. Instead, I glance over at the squad members tending to the wounded. "You're not in great shape. This is the deep zone. Fall back to the outer area first." Rain nods. She knows. In their current condition, staying in the deep zone is asking to die. "We'll go now." She looks at me. "What about you two?" I smile. I glance at the countdown on my terminal. "Still plenty of time. We're going to push in a little further." Rain's mouth opens slightly. She seems to want to say something. "Then be careful." I nod, and that is goodbye. Without another pause, I move with Lilith toward the deepest parts of the realm. Less than 2 hours remain before today's realm closes. We cannot afford to slow down. Rain watches until the last trace of that figure disappears from sight. Only then does she pull her gaze away. Something complicated and nameless rises in her chest. When did the boy who was invisible, nobody's radar never noticed, grow into someone she has to look up to? High atop Linyuan City Hall, in the mayor's office, the mood is heavy. Mayor Blaze stands at the window, hands clasped behind his back, gazing toward the eastern district. "Still nothing?" His voice is low, carrying quiet exhaustion. Behind him, City Guard Commissioner Thorne shakes his head gravely. "Mayor, after that energy surge appeared last night, we swept the entire eastern district immediately. No new dimensional rifts were found, no record of any high-ranking combatant entering the region." Confusion fills Commissioner Thorne's voice as well. That energy was vast and deep, but it vanished in an instant, almost like an illusion. But as a heaven-rank warrior, Mayor Blaze could not have sensed it wrong. He says nothing. His sharp eyes flicker with quiet thought. The unknown is always the most unsettling. He turns back around and settles back into his chair. "Leave it for now. Keep the alert active. How's the realm going? Any promising talent showing up this year?" At the mention of this, Commissioner Thorne relaxes slightly, but there's a trace of disappointment in his brow. So far, the top performer is the song Family Kid, Zane's song, just over 6,000 points. Beast is an epic rank holy angel. Potential rating has hit A rank. A rank. In any other year that would have been considered the absolute best. But Mayor Blaze only lets out a barely audible sigh. Linyuan has gone too long without a true genius. 3 years ago, we finally produced an S rank, potential student, and the Capital University snatched him up like a prize. That was one of the few truly shining achievements of his time here, and after that, nothing. A city's future depends on its youth. Without top-tier new talent flowing in, Linyuan will only fall further behind in the competition with surrounding cities. Just as the office sinks back into heavy silence, the door slams open and a figure stumbles in. It's Director Ming from the Novice Realm Monitoring Center, gasping for breath, his face a chaotic mix of shock, disbelief, and barely contained joy. Commissioner Thorne frowns at the sight of him. "What happened to you?" Mayor Blaze looks up at this usually composed man. "Take a breath. Tell me clearly, what happened?" Director Ming swallows hard, trying to steady his hammering heart. "Mayor, we have another S-rank potential." Those words hit the room like a thunderclap. Commissioner Thorne's expression freezes. Mayor Blaze, who had been leaning back in his chair, shoots upright. "What did you say? You're certain you didn't misread it?" Director Ming nods hard. He pulls up the data screen on his Omni terminal, his hands trembling with excitement, and presents it to both of them. "Absolutely certain. I saw it myself. This student named Lux, his realm points have already broken 40,000. Potential rating S rank. The moment I saw the data, I ran straight here to report it. Mayor Blaze stares at the data screen, his breath stopping completely. 40,000 points, multiple times beyond the threshold. After a stunned beat of silence, Mayor Blaze slams his palm on the desk and surges to his feet. Every trace of composure vanishes, replaced by raw, unrestrained elation. Yes, this is a gift straight from the heavens. An F-rank genius means far more to Linyuan City than any A-rank ever could. This is no small matter. It is the hope of Linyuan City's future. Beside him, Commissioner Thorne snaps out of his shock, a wide smile spreading across his face. Congratulations, Mayor. It is your strong leadership that allows our city to produce such talent one after another. Mayor Blaze waves him off. He has no patience for flattery right now. To the surveillance center, his eyes burn with fierce intensity. I want to see for myself what kind of genius this Lux really is. At that very moment, Lilith and I are deep inside a dark ravine. Ahead of me, more than 20 pairs of pale green eyes flicker to life in the dim ravine. A pack of spineback wolves, each one the size of a full-grown bull, with bone spikes along their backs as sharp as blades, savage and terrifying. Their strength ranges from star level 3 to 5, and at the very front of the pack stands the largest of them all, nearly twice the size of the others, the spineback wolf king. Its cold, ruthless eyes lock onto me and Lilith. Mortal rank, star level 7. This is a carefully planned ambush. Lilith's breathing is no longer as steady as before. Fine beads of sweat gather at her pale temples. The long hours of intense combat have drained her heavily, yet the hand gripping her absolution scythe stays perfectly still without a single tremor. Master, be careful, Lilith says, her voice heavy. These beasts are more cunning than anything we have faced before. We chased a star level 5 spineback wolf that deliberately showed a weakness, and it lured us straight into this ravine. Who would have thought that? Creatures like these, ones that seem to act on pure instinct, would actually know to use a packmate as bait, drawing prey into a perfect encirclement. Yet my face shows not a trace of tension or fear. I scan the wolves surrounding us with calm eyes, and a faint smile tugs at the corner of my mouth. Good. Saves me the trouble of hunting them one by one. The moment the words leave my mouth, Lilith understands perfectly. The look she gives me is filled with absolute trust and blazing fighting spirit. Far more terrifying than before. Deeper and darker. A surging violet-black energy erupts from Lilith, exploding outward with a thunderous force. Skill activated. Blood of 7 sins. Born from the deepest power of hell itself. The bloodline of the 7 deadly sins. All who carry this blood hold the potential to become one of the 7 demon kings. While active, all stats increase by 200%. It can be deactivated at any time. The drawback is a brief period of weakness after deactivation, with all stats dropping by 20%. But compared to the raw power of this skill, that cost is barely worth mentioning. As the skill activates, Lilith's aura rises steadily. Her jet black hair lifts without any wind, her violet-black butterfly wings spreading wide open, bewitching and breathtaking. Those soul-stirring eyes of hers now grow impossibly deep, burning with a flame called destruction. Across from us, the spineback wolf king had assumed the 2 targets before it were already at their limit, but this sudden transformation fills it with doubt and unease. Still, as the undisputed ruler of this territory, its savagery quickly crushes that flicker of hesitation. The wolf king lets out a roar that shakes the entire ravine, the signal to attack. In an instant, over 20 spineback wolves surge forward at once, charging from every direction toward the 2 of us at the center of the ravine. Lilith moves. Her figure leaves only a faint afterimage, vanishing in an instant. A flash of dark, icy light, and the first spineback wolf to reach her freezes mid-lunge. Its massive head shoots into the air. Before the headless body even hits the ground, Lilith is already beside another wolf, the absolution scythe carving an elegant, deadly arc. Another head rolls free. In this moment, Lilith is the Grim Reaper walking straight out of hell. Every flash of her movement, every swing of her scythe, claims a life with ruthless precision. The pack's fearsome encirclement crumbles before her like wet paper. In the span of just a dozen breaths, the ground is already littered with 7 or 8 spineback wolf corpses. The wolf king's cold, merciless eyes stay locked on Lilith. It had assumed its prey was already spent, but that sudden explosion of energy, so profound it makes its very soul shudder, shatters everything it thought it knew. A low whine escapes the wolf king's throat. Its massive body takes an involuntary half-step back. Fear, an emotion it has not felt in a long time, begins to spread through its chest for the first time. But as the unchallenged ruler of this land, the deeply ingrained killing instinct quickly crushes that moment of hesitation. The wolf king throws its head back and lets out a roar that tears through the ravine, one final act of madness. In an instant, the remaining dozen or so spineback wolves charge alongside the wolf king in a death rush. Lilith moves, the Grim Reaper once more carving a dance of death through the pack. After Lilith cuts down the last of the mobs, the wolf king's bone spikes flare outward all at once. It senses a threat unlike anything it has ever felt before. It opens its jaws wide, and a sickly pale beam of bone energy begins to condense inside its mouth, then launches toward Lilith with a shriek that tears through the air. This is its most powerful attack. But Lilith's figure barely shifts, and she sidesteps it with ease. The next instant she appears directly before the wolf king. Its towering shadow swallows her slender frame completely. It raises one massive, razor-sharp claw and slams it down. Lilith does not dodge. She does not retreat. She simply tilts her head up slowly, those eyes burning with the flame of destruction, gazing at it in silence. The massive black scythe sweeps upward with the conviction of one who cuts fate itself. No thundering crash, no blinding burst of clashing energy. The Wolf King's powerful claw freezes in midair. A hairline of crimson traces from the center of its brow all the way down to the tip of its tail. The next second, the Wolf King's massive body, bones and all, is split cleanly in two. A torrent of pure energy surges from the cleaved corpse and flows entirely into Lilith. Her aura begins climbing wildly once more. Mortal rank, star level 7. A surging wave of power radiates outward from her, spreading in all directions with overwhelming force. At the same time, a rich, surging wave of feedback energy floods through every part of my body. My mental power spikes again. I open Lilith's stat panel. Lilith, Night Witch, rank, mortal, star level 7, strength, 151, agility, 165, constitution, 155. Looking at these terrifying triple-digit stats across all 4 categories, my heart can't help but skip a few beats. This is the horror of legendary grade talent. An ordinary elite grade bound beast at star level 7 might peak around 50 points in its best stat. Lilith is 3 times that. My eyes drop to the final section, recommended growth materials, Eternal Night Pearl, Hellspring Water, Nightmare Crystal. Each one is extraordinarily rare. If I could get my hands on all of them, I could rapidly advance Lilith's grade to legendary tier 2. And if I kept pushing her forward step by step from there, all the way to mythic grade, what a terrifying sight that would be. I push down the excitement rising in my chest and immediately open my Omni terminal. I connect to the network and start browsing the material catalogs of every major trade guild in Linyuan City. I search every single material listed on the panel. Every single one not found. My brow furrows slightly. It seems these materials are far too rare. At least in a mid-sized city like Linyuan, they are simply impossible to find. A wave of disappointment washes over me, but I quickly pull myself together. Thinking about all that is still far too premature. What matters right now is passing the Beastmaster entrance exam and getting into a top-tier Beastmaster Academy. Only by reaching a higher platform can I gain access to a wider world, and only then will I have any chance of obtaining materials like these. The countdown now shows less than 10 minutes remaining. Lilith, it's time to go, I call out softly. The violet-black energy around Lilith slowly retracts as she deactivates Blood of 7 Sins. A wave of intense weakness hits her immediately. Her body instinctively leans into me, and I wrap my arm around her without hesitation. I turn with Lilith toward the exit of the ravine. A familiar sensation of the world spinning hits, and then solid ground returns beneath my feet. Blinding sunlight and the noise of the city instantly replace the cold stillness of the realm. We are back. Central Plaza, Linyuan City. The plaza is already packed with newly awakened Beastmasters, gathered in clusters, comparing what they found inside. The moment Lilith and I appear, every pair of eyes in the plaza drifts toward us, drawn in without thinking. It is simply because Lilith's beauty and presence are far beyond what words can capture. She rests quietly on my arm, her stunning face carrying the lazy, battle-worn ease of someone who has just survived a fierce fight, which only adds to her breathtaking allure. Just then, a city guard officer in uniform strides quickly toward us. He snaps to attention and salutes. "Excuse me, are you Lux?" I give a small nod. The officer's face breaks into a smile. "Lux, congratulations. In this year's beginner realm, you have achieved an S-rank potential rating. Mayor Blaze of Linyuan City would like to speak with you in person." S-rank, the mayor. Those two things together send a visible shock through everyone nearby who had been eavesdropping. Disbelief is written all over their faces. I blink for a moment, caught off guard, but I recover quickly. It seems the stir I caused inside the realm was even bigger than I thought. I have no reason to refuse. I give a calm nod. "Please lead the way." With Lilith at my side, I follow the officer toward the tower at the edge of the plaza. The building belongs to the City Guard Bureau. Its gray-white exterior carries a quiet, formal weight. The officer leads me to a conference room on the second floor. I push open the door and step inside. The room is simply furnished. A long rectangular conference table, a few chairs, nothing else. Yet the two people seated at the head of the table give the entire room a heavy, commanding presence. One of them I recognize from the city news, the highest authority in Linyuan City, Mayor Blaze. The other is a middle-aged man in a deep blue City Guard Bureau uniform, stars gleaming on his epaulets, eyes sharp as a blade, Commissioner Thorne of the City Guard Bureau. The moment Lilith and I step through the door, both sets of eyes snap toward us. At the sight of Lilith, even these two powerful figures, the mayor and the commissioner, cannot hide the flash of surprise in their eyes. But they quickly regain their composure, and their attention shifts back to me, full of scrutiny and curiosity. "Have a seat," Mayor Blaze says first, his voice calm and easy, carrying the natural authority of someone long accustomed to power. I don't stand on ceremony. I pull out a chair and sit. Lilith stands quietly behind me, her expression unreadable. "I am Mayor Blaze of Linyuan City. This is Commissioner Thorne of the Linyuan City Guard Bureau." Commissioner Thorne gives me a slight nod in greeting. "Lux, a true young hero." Mayor Blaze's gaze moves between me and Lilith. "Linyuan City has not seen a talent like yours in many, many years." His voice carries undisguised admiration. The mayor flatters me. I just got lucky. I rub the back of my nose with a small laugh. Mayor Blaze's smile only deepens. Not arrogant, not reckless, steady and composed. His impression of this young man rises another notch. "I remember that 3 years ago, Linyuan City also produced an S-rank genius, someone named Ren. What is your relationship with her?" Mayor Blaze sets down his teacup and lets out a hearty laugh. "Two exceptional talents from the same family, sister and brother both born for greatness. You two are a true credit to Linyuan City." Commissioner Thorne smiles, and picks up where he left off. I remember it clearly. Ren's very first bound beast was an epic grade 9-tailed fox. At that year's entrance exam, she practically crushed every peer in Linyuan City, and now 3 years later, here you are, after the round of mutual praise. Mayor Blaze steers the conversation back on track. His expression turns serious. Lux, the reason we asked you here today comes down to one thing. Your score has broken Linyuan City's beginner realm record for the past 10 years. As per the rules, the city will be rewarding you handsomely. My face lights up the moment I hear the word reward. Mayor Blaze catches every bit of it, so the boy isn't entirely indifferent after all. The reward is 10 million alliance credits deposited directly into your account. Mayor Blaze announces the staggering number. 10 million. Enough to instantly lift any ordinary family into a completely different class. Yet I barely react, just a slight shift of my brow. Then I speak. Mayor Blaze, could this reward be exchanged for materials of equivalent value? Mayor Blaze raises an eyebrow, a flicker of appreciation crossing his eyes. What materials do you need? My heart jumps. I immediately name all 3 materials listed on Lilith's panel. At that, the expression on Mayor Blaze's face becomes a strange mix of surprise and something harder to name. A silence settles over the conference room. My own chest tightens with that silence. Lux, do you have any idea what those 3 materials actually mean? Mayor Blaze's voice drops low. Every single one of those materials is a strategic grade resource used to develop the most elite bound beasts in existence. Not just here in Linyuan City, even across the entire Yanhuang Federation, they are considered extraordinarily rare. Priceless. They essentially never appear on the open market. My heart sinks halfway through listening. Mayor Blaze watches the disappointment spread openly across my face. Then, without warning, his tone shifts. However, the Hellspring water you mentioned, our city's treasury happens to have some in stock. Some years ago, a small spatial rift appeared in the eastern outskirts of Linyuan City. The city organized an exploration team, and they brought back a supply of Hellspring water. This water, drawn from Hell itself, is one of the finest materials available for cultivating demon-type and undead-type bound beasts. And precisely because of that, its value is enormous. Market estimates put each unit at over 20 million alliance credits. Mayor Blaze pauses and looks at me directly. Your 10 million reward wouldn't cover even one. My heart lurches like a roller coaster, soaring one moment, crashing the next. But Mayor Blaze's next words offer a sudden glimpse of hope. That said, there is a way for you to earn one for free. My heart slams hard against my ribs. The words burst out before I can stop them. What kind of opportunity? A satisfied smile finally crosses Mayor Blaze's face. The look of someone whose plan has just fallen perfectly into place. Last year, a brand new dungeon appeared in the Blackstone Range to the southwest of Linyuan City. My mind immediately pulls up everything I know about dungeons. Realms are resource-rich zones that can be explored repeatedly. A dungeon is what comes before a realm. It features a powerful final boss, and only the first team to defeat that boss claims the richest completion rewards. Once the boss falls, the dungeon gradually transforms into a realm for future explorers. Is there something special about this particular dungeon? I press in immediately. Mayor Blaze gives a slow nod, his expression turning grave. This dungeon has a rank restriction. Only mortal rank domain masters and their bound beasts may enter. If anything above mortal rank attempts to force its way in, it will immediately cause the entire dungeon space to collapse. And according to intel from the team that entered last year, the final boss is a mortal rank, star level 9, psionic type creature. I instantly grasp the problem. Psionic type bound beasts are already extraordinarily rare to begin with, and Linyuan City is only a mid-sized city. Finding a domain master at mortal rank who can match a star level 9 psionic creature is genuinely difficult. So this dungeon has simply been sitting there, untouched, ever since. Commissioner Thorne adds, it's a meal sitting right there on the table, and we can't take a single bite. Frustrating doesn't begin to cover it. Mayor Blaze can't help but laugh at that. Then he fixes me with an intense gaze. Lux, there is simply no one better suited for this than you. Once this dungeon is cleared, Linyuan City gains an entirely new realm. A tremendous benefit for the whole city, and as the one who leads that clearing, the city will not hold back on your reward. That unit of Hellspring water, given to you as compensation, I don't think anyone will object. Meanwhile, at the realm exit on Central Plaza, a tall, upright figure strides out through the crowd, flanked by admirers. It is Zane. He has changed into designer casual clothes, a self-assured and arrogant smile on his face. Beside him, the radiant and ethereal radiant angel Aurora follows quietly, a goddess untouched by the mortal world, drawing every eye on the plaza in an instant. Is that the epic grade radiant angel? She's stunning. Those eager to curry favor with the Song family swarm around them immediately, faces plastered with flattering smiles. Young Master Zane is definitely taking first place this time, with the radiant angel by his side. Who could possibly compete? Surrounded by the praise pouring into his ears, Zane's smile grows more smug by the second. He reaches out and runs a hand through Aurora's smooth golden hair with easy familiarity. Once I take first place, I'll get you holy light essence on the way back, help you break through to star level 6. Aurora lowers her gaze slightly, a small satisfied smile curving her lips. Thank you, Master. Zane's chest swells with pride. He thinks back to a trade he made inside the realm. To guarantee his victory, he traded 3 exceedingly rare blood blossom flowers for a full 3,000 bonus points. Added to the 6,000 or so he earned hunting creatures himself, his total has already reached over 9,300 points. A score that crushes every previous S-rank talent on record. First place belongs to him and no one else. While he is still lost in that fantasy, a low hum rises across the plaza. The massive holographic screen at its center finally blazes to life. Every breath in the crowd stops. Countless eyes lock onto the scrolling leaderboard, hunting for their own names. Zane's gaze goes straight to the very top. At last, the screen flickers, and the top 3 entries freeze on the display. Third place, 3,150 points. Potential rating, B+. Second place, Zane, 9,325 points. Potential rating, Zane's smile freezes. How is he second? He even rubs his eyes on instinct, convinced he must be misreading it. The text is perfectly clear. Aurora's expression shifts as well. Her eyes sweep rapidly across the leaderboard, searching for the name she had instinctively assumed could never appear there. Impossible. A worthless nobody who bonded with a defective succubus. How could someone like that possibly outscore Zane and his epic grade Radiant Angel? But the next second, blazing data fills the very top of the screen. First place Lux. 41,350 points. Potential rating S rank. The entire plaza erupts. Am I reading that right? Who is Lux? Is that even a score a person can get? Meanwhile, Zane's mind goes completely blank. His 9,000 points, the number he was so proud of, looks laughable next to that. How is it possible that someone he had always stepped on, a nobody who bonded with what everyone called a defective reject, earns an S rank rating? The burning humiliation and raw resentment scorch through his reason. Cheating! The word tears out of Zane's throat in a shriek. He jabs a trembling finger at the name blazing at the top of the screen. It has to be cheating. This is impossible. A city guard officer steps forward. Please watch your words. Every piece of data from this realm has been verified by the surveillance center and the city's official contract system. There are no irregularities whatsoever. The rankings are legitimate and final. The official verification snuffs out Zane's last shred of hope and shatters his pride completely. The looks from the crowd around him shift. Undisguised pity mixed with open mockery. Zane can no longer stand another second here. Let's go! He grabs Aurora's arm and shoves his way through the crowd under a storm of staring eyes. I swear, at the entrance exam's practical assessment, I will grind you beneath my feet. The venomous thought screams through Zane's mind. Aurora stumbles along behind him, dragged by his grip. Her face is pale as paper. A thought surfaces in her mind, one that makes her very soul tremble, and she cannot push it back down. Was the choice she made back then truly the right one? Night falls. Only then do Lilith and I finally leave the tower. In the conference room on the second floor, Mayor Blaze and Commissioner Thorne stand side by side, watching the two of us walk away together. Commissioner Thorne pulls his gaze back, and he is the first to break the silence. Mayor, do you truly believe he can pull it off? Mayor Blaze does not answer right away. After a long moment, he speaks, slow and quiet. Do we have any other choice? That single question leaves Commissioner Thorne with nothing to say. Mayor Blaze turns, a knowing smile on his face. Have you forgotten what grade his bound beast is? Legendary. Across the entire Yanhuang Federation, for someone this young to earn the bond of a legendary grade beast, outside of the chosen ones from the Imperial Capital's top families, how many can there possibly be? And you saw his performance in the realm with your own eyes. Believe in him. He is the most promising person Lin Yuan City has. By the time I get home, it is already past 7 in the evening. I've barely settled onto the couch when my wrist terminal buzzes. A video call request pops up on the screen. I press accept. A familiar face appears on screen. My sister, Ren. You little punk, you finally picked up. After making sure I still have all my limbs, she lets out a breath. So, how did the realm trial go? Smooth sailing? With Lilith protecting me, how could I possibly get hurt? I answer with a grin. Ren gives a light snort. Then her face shifts to pure excitement. Come on, tell me everything. How did it go? What was your score? You should at least manage an A rank. I'm not asking for much. Just don't embarrass me. I watch her put on that perfectly casual act, and I don't bother drawing it out. S-rank, I say simply. The expression on Ren's face freezes solid on the other side of the screen, like she thinks she misheard. What did you just say? I said my potential rating is S rank, I repeat. A brief silence. Then Ren's cry of disbelief bursts through the communicator. That's my brother, all right? She tosses her chin up with open pride, as if she were the one who just earned the S rank. Once the excitement dies down, something else crosses her mind. Right. What grade is Lilith again? You never got to tell me last time, but if she helped you pull off an S rank, her grade has to be epic at the very least, right? Actually, it's legendary. Legendary! Ren echoes it on reflex, then the word actually lands. Her eyes go wide as dinner plates. This shock hits far harder than the last one. She stares at me for a long moment without saying a word. Finally, after a good while, she lets out a long breath and says in a voice that can't quite decide what it feels, "You absolute lucky son of a gun." I just smile and say nothing. Then I shift gears and walk her through everything Mayor Blaze said. By the time I finish, Ren's smile vanishes instantly, replaced by heavy, unmistakable worry. No, it's too dangerous. That's a star level 9 creature, and a psionic type at that, the worst kind. You just became a beastmaster. How can you even think about taking that risk? But I need the Hellspring. Water. I cut her off, my voice steady and certain. Ren goes quiet. She knows exactly what a material like that is worth. She understands what it means for a bound beast's growth. She falls into a long silence. Every part of her reason says she should stop her brother from taking the risk. But she also knows that for a domain master, opportunity is everything. Miss this one, the chance the mayor is handing you. And the next time you want a treasure of this caliber, who knows how long the wait will be. Finally, she lets out a long, quiet sigh. Fine, I get it. Her eyes turn serious. Completely serious. The other materials, the Eternal Night Pearl, the Nightmare Crystal, I'll keep an eye out for them here in the Imperial Capital. But you have to promise me, when you go into that dungeon tomorrow, safety comes first. No showing off, no being a hero. Are we clear? I nod firmly. After a few more reminders back and forth, we end the call. Just then, the soft sound of the bathroom door comes from behind me. A warm, moist fragrance drifts through the air. Subtle and clean, carried on a breath of steam, a soft, warm figure presses gently against my back, and a pair of arms, pale as white jade, wrap around my neck. Lilith has just stepped out of the bath. She is wrapped loosely in nothing but a white towel. She rests her delicate chin softly on my shoulder. Master! Her voice is barely above, a whisper. Thank you for everything you have done for Lilith, fighting to the edge of death inside the realm, standing your ground for me in that meeting room. She has seen all of it. She knows that everything you do is for her. For finding the rare materials that will make her stronger. The weight of that feeling fills her chest with something she cannot put into words. Gratitude so deep it aches, and something bittersweet beneath it. Lilith presses her face a little closer. The truth is, just being able to meet you, Master, to finally be free of that cursed seal, Lilith is already more than grateful. Whether I grow stronger or not, that doesn't matter to me. As long as I can stay by your side like this, protecting you, that is enough. Her words send a sharp jolt through my chest. I can feel the raw sincerity in them, and something painfully small like she is asking for far less than she deserves. I reach out and lay my hand gently over hers where they rest against my chest. My voice comes out low and quiet. I'm not doing this only for you. I'm doing it for myself too, so that we can both survive and thrive in a world like this one. So stop overthinking it. The next morning, Lilith and I are ready to go. A hover car waits quietly at the base of the apartment building. We climb into the back seat. The hover car starts without a sound and glides smoothly into traffic, heading toward the Blackstone Range at the edge of the city. The scenery outside blurs past, and soon nothing fills the view but the rolling black cliffs. The dungeon's entrance is set deep inside a heavily guarded valley controlled by the City Guard Bureau. The space at the entrance ripples and warps, like the surface of disturbed water. Commissioner Thorne is already waiting for us. When he sees me step out of the car, the tight furrow in his brow eases just slightly. Commissioner Thorne doesn't waste time on pleasantries. He steps forward directly, gestures solemnly toward the warping gateway, and begins laying out the latest intelligence on the dungeon. Based on multiple rounds of remote scanning and analysis, we can confirm that the interior is no ordinary cavern. We have named it the Tide Crawl Maze. Most of the creatures inside are under the direct psionic control of the final boss. That is the core challenge. Inside, you will not only be facing relentless waves of enemies, but also the boss's psionic strikes. As he speaks, he reaches into his coat and draws out a small lacquered box. He opens it and places a warm, smooth yellow jade pendant carefully into my hand. This is the Clarity Jade. It strengthens your resistance to psionic attacks. In a critical moment, crush it, and it will form a powerful one-time psionic barrier around you. Remember, you only get one chance. I feel the faint coolness radiating from the jade, and carefully hang it around my neck. I give a nod. Then, under Commissioner Thorne's grave stare, Lilith and I step hand in hand into the rippling gateway. A wave of weightlessness hits, the world spinning out from under me. When solid ground returns beneath my feet, we are somewhere else entirely. A massive maze of dark gray stone stretches around us, walls rising so high that no sky is visible above. Only a faint, eerie glow seeping through the cracks in the rock. Countless branching paths stretch out before us, twisting and overlapping, impossible to take in at a glance. The air hums with a faint, barely perceptible psionic energy, like invisible fingers constantly pressing against the nerves of anyone who enters, nudging them toward madness and ruin. Several dark shapes burst out from the shadows along the walls, low-level creatures with minds already warped by the psionic field here. Their bodies are grotesque, eyes blazing red. Lilith doesn't even move. She simply lifts her gaze, a violet light flickering to life in her eyes. The charging creatures freeze midair and let out piercing shrieks. Their bodies begin to convulse violently. Then, right in front of me, they turn their own claws on themselves and collapse. With Lilith's level of psionic power, even without activating a skill, she can bend low-level small fry to her will. I'm not surprised. Rather than blundering through the maze like a headless chicken, I pull up my wrist terminal. Commissioner Thorne had already uploaded the City Guard Bureau's exploration map. A pale blue holographic display pops up before me, the full three-dimensional layout of the maze rendered in sharp detail. A golden route, calculated by the terminal's navigation system, cuts straight through the layered corridors and points directly toward the deepest point of the maze, the boss's lair. With the map guiding us, we move quickly through the maze along the golden path. Along the way, we run into several more waves of psionic-controlled creatures, all of them dealt with by Lilith in the most efficient way possible. Several hours later, the path opens up. A vast underground cavern stretches before us. We finally see the dungeon's final boss. At the center of the cavern crouches a monstrous mass, a massive green blob of flesh, like a giant slime, its surface slick and glistening. One enormous eye sits at its center. Countless thick, semi-transparent neural tendrils extend from the base of the mass and plunge deep into the cavern walls. I immediately open my cheat panel. Mind Fiend. Grade, Heroic, Tier 5. Level, Lower Star Level 9. Strength, 51. Agility 78, Constitution 63, Spirit 170. The instant Lilith and I appear, the Mind Fiend locks onto us, but it doesn't attack immediately. Instead, a silent psionic shriek radiates outward from it, flooding through the entire maze in an instant. The next second, from every tunnel feeding into the cavern, a black tide of creatures comes pouring out. Their eyes are all blazing red, every last shred of their own will wiped away. Their levels range from star level 2 to 5, and there are dozens of them. They charge without any regard for their own lives, forming a wall of flesh and bone in front of the Mind Fiend. The Mind Fiend's plan is obvious. The oldest and most brutal tactic of all: drown the enemy in bodies until they collapse. I stare at the seemingly endless wave of creatures, and a strange expression crosses my face. I can see right through the Mind Fiend's cautious, vicious strategy. I tilt my head toward Lilith, Lilith and say quietly, "It's afraid of us. It's using all this cannon fodder to wear us down. In that case, let's give it a real surprise." Lilith steps forward. Her black skirt stirs in the windless cavern. She raises one hand, pale as translucent porcelain, to her chest. Her lips part and ancient cryptic syllables laced with a fatal allure flow slowly from her throat. Her voice is not loud, but it carries a power that cuts straight through to the soul, resonating clearly in every corner of the cavern, even rising above the thunder of hundreds of creatures charging at full force. Skill activated. Fog of the Dead Zone. Centered on the caster, it summons a spreading blue-violet mist that blankets the surrounding area. Any creature that breathes it in is plunged into illusions, unable to tell friend from foe. Even without inhaling it, prolonged skin contact is enough to trigger the effect. As the final syllable falls, a deep violet mist so thick it seems almost solid surges outward from Lilith's body in all directions. The violet mist churns and rolls, alive. Within it, countless alluring silhouettes twist and dance. Countless beautiful faces smile at you. The air fills with a haunting melody that seeps into the soul, burrowing into the ears, effortlessly awakening the most primal, buried hunger for violence and destruction in any living thing. The charging horde slams straight into the violet mist. At the front, a star level 5 stone brute, its red eyes blazing under the mind fiend's control. The moment it enters the mist, its expression shifts from enslaved frenzy to completely unhinged savagery. The stone brute unleashes a deafening roar, but this roar is no longer aimed at me and Lilith. It wheels around, its fists encased in solid rock, and slams them down onto the star level 4 shadow wolf beside it. The shadow wolf doesn't even have time to react. Its skull is crushed to nothing. That is the signal. The slaughter begins. The entire horde loses all control the moment it enters the mist's range. The whole cavern becomes a blood-soaked nightmare of severed limbs in just 10 seconds. At the center of it all, the mind fiend's enormous pupil contracts violently. Disbelief, incomprehension, and bone-deep terror flooding through it. The psionic dominance it had always been so proud of dissolves the instant it makes contact with that violet mist, swept away like dust. It can feel every psionic link it has with those creatures being severed, overridden by something more dominant, more advanced, utterly beyond challenge. And it isn't just severed. That small, delicate, beautiful figure is a psionic controller who is countless times more terrifying than itself. Run. That single thought takes over every corner of its mind. A deep, dull thud. The mind fiend's bloated, slick body tears itself free from the stone floor. Its semi-transparent neural tendrils are ripped out from the cavern walls one by one, dragging loose chunks of rock and dust. The thickest dozens of them slap and writhe across the floor like a giant octopus's arms. That 10-meter mass of flesh moves at a speed completely at odds with its size, scrambling frantically toward the dark tunnel at the back of the cavern. Think again. Lilith, standing at the heart of the violet mist, watches the enormous blob flee in a panic. A cold, contemptuous smile curves the corner of her lips. She leaves only a faint afterimage where she stood, her entire body becoming a bolt of black lightning, closing the gap in an instant. Seeing Lilith's dark shadow of death drawing nearer and nearer, the mind fiend suddenly reverses course. It ignores Lilith behind it and pours every last drop of its psionic power into a single point, compressing it into a blindingly pale beam. Soul Death Ray. In the next breath, it fires, straight at me faster than thought. The strike is vicious and precise, but just as the beam is about to hit, Lilith appears out of nowhere. She abandons the chase without hesitation and throws herself between me and the beam, taking the full force of it with her own back. Lilith lets out a muffled grunt. A thin line of crimson traces from the corner of her mouth, but she stands perfectly straight, keeping me firmly shielded behind her. She turns her head back and looks at me, unharmed. Her amber eyes fill with a relief so deep it borders on fear. Seeing Lilith hurt because of me, my eyes go ice cold in an instant. I pull a healing vial from my belt pouch and press it into Lilith's hands. Once Lilith confirms her master is completely unharmed, she slowly turns back around. Those amber eyes that once bewitched all who looked into them, now hold nothing but killing intent. Cold as the void, and towering, boundless rage. You're going to pay for that. Blood of 7 sins. The moment the words leave her lips, a terrifying aura beyond all description explodes from her body, flooding through the entire cavern. Lilith's presence climbs higher and higher. The pressure radiating from her is several times more overwhelming than anything before. The mind fiend shakes with uncontrollable fear, feeling in Lilith's very bloodline an absolute irresistible dominance it cannot begin to defy. Lilith vanishes from where she stood. The next second, a cold whisper laced with poisonous hatred breathes against the back of the mind fiend's head. Now feel what true despair is. An indescribable, crushing pressure erupts from her, like an invisible storm sweeping through the entire space in an instant. All stats plus 200. Her strength, agility, constitution, and spirit reach staggering heights in this moment. Lilith moves. She leaves only a faint afterimage. The mind fiend cannot even register where the strike came from. Its massive right flank explodes open in a gaping wound, cut down to the bone. Dark, viscous, black-green blood geysers from the wound. But what terrifies the mind fiend even more is that the gash left by the scythe shows no signs of healing. Instead, a dark, sinister energy is aggressively eating into the flesh surrounding the wound, stripping away every last bit of its ability to regenerate. A silent, psionic shriek, carrying the full weight of agony and hatred, erupts outward. This is the Mind Fiend's most powerful psionic strike, enough to instantly kill any creature of the same tier. It slams full force into Lilith at point-blank range, but Lilith's violet eyes, burning with towering rage, hold nothing but cold indifference. The strike lands, and vanishes without a ripple as though it never existed. With blood of 7 sins active, her psionic power has already surpassed anything the Mind Fiend can comprehend. One hit, nothing. The Mind Fiend sinks into complete despair. Lilith becomes black lightning once more, circling the Mind Fiend's massive body in a merciless, systematic destruction. Every swing of the Absolution scythe carves another bone-deep wound into its flesh. The whole exchange can no longer even be called a fight. Standing outside the battle, I observe the situation with calm eyes, but my brow slowly tightens. Through the invisible bond of our contract, I can feel clearly how rapidly Lilith's energy is draining. The power that Blood of 7 Sins brings is not free. Combined with the wide area skill she used to wipe out the mobs earlier, Lilith's reserves are burning fast. So fast that even I can feel sharp needle-like jabs of pain flickering through my mind. That is the sign of psionic energy being overdrawn through the contract. This has to end now. Just then, the Mind Fiend, already torn apart beyond recognition, seems to grasp that death is certain. Despair ignites one final act of madness. Its remaining eye suddenly blazes with a brutal, blood-red light. A devastating force surges from the core of its ruined body. It pours every last drop of its life force and psionic power into one final strike, an overwhelming psionic shockwave that detonates outward with it at the center. And once again, the target is me. This is its last gamble, mutual destruction. It is convinced that if it can just kill this seemingly fragile domain master, then this terrifying human-shaped beast will be critically wounded, or killed along with him. The psionic shockwave comes far too fast and sudden. Lilith is caught mid-swing with no time to get back to me. For the first time, open panic breaks across her face. Master! But standing directly in the path of the shockwave, my face shows not a single trace of fear. If anything, a cold mocking smile crosses my lips. I raise my hand slowly, and in the instant before the shockwave reaches me, I crush the warm jade pendant hanging at my chest. A sharp crack rings out. A thick, earthy yellow barrier, solid as a fortress wall, seals completely around me. The psionic shockwave arrives at the same moment, crashes into the barrier and shatters apart, dissolving into countless harmless sparks that fade into nothing. Inside the barrier, I stand completely unharmed. The Mind Fiend's eye fills with the purest despair and disbelief, its consciousness freezing in this exact moment forever. The jet-black scythe, wreathed in a crimson glow, finally completes its purpose. It pierces the Mind Fiend's core and extinguishes its very last spark of life. With the Mind Fiend slain, an enormous torrent of light pours into Lilith's body. A violet radiance blazes to life across her entire frame, and I feel my own mental power and physical strength surge in response. Lilith has leveled up again, mortal rank star level 8. With the dungeon's final boss dead, the entire space begins to shake violently. Massive black spatial rifts tear open across the cavern walls and ceiling. Countless rocks shower down like rain. The entire tidecrawl maze is collapsing. The raging aura around Lilith recedes like a tide, and the drawback of Blood of 7 Sins hits immediately. A crushing wave of exhaustion sweeps through her entire body. She falls backward, and a warm, steady pair of arms catch her without missing a beat. I hold her tightly, her face pale against my chest, and prepare to activate the teleport to get us out of this collapsing death trap. Just then, the corner of my eye catches something in the ash and scattered remains of the Mind Fiend. A soft blue glow, unlike anything else around it, pulsing quietly in the debris. What is that? Something surges in my chest. With Lilith still in my arms, ignoring the massive boulders crashing down around us, I lunge forward in one motion and scoop up what looks like a deep-sea sapphire, a dazzling, crystal-clear core. It rests warm and smooth in my palm. Inside it, something like a galaxy of stars slowly churns, radiating a pure and immense soul energy. The instant my fingers close around it, a line of text appears in my mind. Soul Crystal Core. Effect. Massively amplifies the Beastmaster's psionic power. Allows a mortal rank Beastmaster, who meets the psionic threshold, to unlock the Beast Void ahead of schedule. My breathing quickens. The Beast Void, that is a landmark ability normally reserved for Beastmasters who have advanced to Spirit rank. It is the defining power of that tier, the ability to open an independent dimensional space within oneself. Not only can a bound beast rest and recover inside it at a vastly accelerated rate, it also functions as personal storage, with uses beyond counting. For a mortal rank Beastmaster, the value of this tiny crystal core is completely beyond measure. This is an unbelievable windfall that no one could have predicted. Boom! A boulder several meters wide crashes down overhead. There is no time to think. I pull Lilith tighter against me, grip the soul crystal core in my fist with everything I have, and silently call out the teleport command. When I open my eyes again, we are back at the entrance to the tidecrawl maze. Dozens of rescue personnel in white protective gear swarm around us immediately. Bright scanning beams sweep across our bodies. Portable vital sign monitors emit soft beeping sounds, data scrolling rapidly across their screens. Subject 1. Vital signs stable. Psionic energy severely depleted. No major external injuries. Subject's bound beast. Life core stable, but energy readings significantly weakened. Multiple soft tissue bruising detected throughout the body. No life-threatening conditions. A rescue officer rattles off the report rapid fire. Just then, a tall figure pushes through the crowd and strides toward us. It is Commissioner Thorne, barely able to contain the relief and excitement written all over his face. You made it back safely. I hold Lilith and glance behind me. The dark cave entrance is completely gone. Nothing but smooth rock face left in its place. It's already sealed? My voice comes out rough and dry. Commissioner Thorne nods firmly. According to our readings, this unstable newly formed dungeon has been fully closed. Before long, a brand new stable realm will form here. I want to express on behalf of all of Linyuan City our deepest gratitude for what you and your bound beast have accomplished. The surrounding city guard rescue team looks at me with a mix of awe and curiosity. Commissioner Thorne continues, I know you're exhausted, but we do need a brief account of what happened inside, especially regarding the final boss. That information is invaluable. I hold Lilith and give a short clipped summary. But even those few sentences send shockwaves through the crowd. 2 people alone against a horde of hundreds, and they turn the entire army against itself. Every eye locks onto the seemingly fragile sleeping witch in my arms, filled with awe and reverence. Even Commissioner Thorne can't help but draw a sharp breath. So this is the power of a legendary grade-bound beast, truly beyond all reason. And then there is this young man, staring down a situation with no way out, and still calm enough to read the enemy's weakness and work with his bound beast in perfect sync. That kind of mind and nerve is just as remarkable. What a kid. A true young hero. Commissioner Thorne says it from the heart. The head of the medical team steps forward. You're in good shape physically. Go home and rest up. Let your psionic energy recover. Your bound beast is weakened, but her injuries have been stabilized with healing vials. 2 days of rest and she'll be fully recovered. Those words finally let the last of the tension drain out of me. A wave of exhaustion washes over my entire body. She's safe. Lilith is going to be okay. Commissioner Thorne sees the exhaustion in my face and doesn't push further. Everything here is handled. Go home and rest. You need to prepare for the upcoming entrance exam. He pauses, then adds, one more thing. Time moves differently inside the dungeon. What felt like half a day to you in there, out here, 2 full days have passed. 2 entire days. I take that in stride. That kind of time difference between a dungeon and the outside world is not unusual. As for your earned reward, the Hellspring water, I will have someone personally deliver it to your home shortly. Commissioner Thorne gives his word. Thank you, Commissioner. I give a nod. I'm ready to be home. This place has too many eyes. It's not somewhere I should linger. I need to get back as fast as I can and, in absolute safety, absorb the soul crystal core. A treasure like this only truly belongs to you once it becomes part of your own strength. Back in my apartment, I carefully lay Lilith down on the living room couch and pull a thin blanket over her. After 2 straight days of maximum concentration in combat, the moment I finally let my guard down, I don't even have the energy to wash up. I murmur a few words to Lilith, stumble into my room, and collapse into a deep sleep. The next morning, an urgent comm ring yanks me out of a dead sleep. Half awake, I fumble for the communicator on my bedside table and press accept. A sharp, slightly annoyed female voice comes through immediately. You little punk, you've been completely off the grid for 2 whole days. Do you have any idea how worried I was? It's Ren, calling all the way from the Imperial capital. I rub my bleary eyes and rush to explain. I went into a new dungeon. The time flow inside is different from out here. At that explanation, the frustration on Ren's face eases a little. It gives way to genuine concern. Are you and Lilith okay? I'm fine. Just burned through a lot of psionic energy. I push myself up and lean against the headboard. Lilith took a hit protecting me though. She blocked a direct strike from the final boss. The words are barely out of my mouth when a figure appears silently at the bedside. Lilith holds out a warm cup of water toward me. Some color has returned to her previously pale face. On the other side of the comm screen, Ren catches sight of Lilith. Her gaze softens visibly. Lilith, you worked hard this time. Thank you for looking after this reckless brother of mine. It is what I should do, Lilith says softly with a small composed bow. Ren nods satisfied. Then, without skipping a beat, her eyes snap back to me. So how did the dungeon go? Did you come away with anything good? I drop my voice low. I got a soul crystal core. The moment the words land, Ren's expression freezes solid. Her eyes snap wide open, locked onto me. A full 10+ seconds pass. Ren's chest rises and falls sharply. It is clear her mind is anything but calm. You lucky little punk. She doesn't ask a single thing about the fight. Instead, she immediately says, not a single other person can know about this. Find somewhere absolutely safe and absorb it right now. I give a firm nod. That's exactly what I plan to do. Then Ren walks me through how to use the soul crystal core. Not long after the call ends, the doorbell rings. 2 City Guard Bureau officers stand outside. I open the door. The lead officer confirms, under Commissioner Thorne's orders, we are here to deliver your mission reward. Please sign for it. I take the case, thank them, and sign the handover document. The 2 officers salute and leave without any delay. Clean and professional. I close the door and open the case. A bone-chilling air rushes out to meet me. Nestled at the center of the case sits a crystal vial, half filled with a liquid as black as ink. A faint dark mist seems to curl around its surface. Looking at it, something stirs quietly in my chest. Of the 3 materials needed to advance Lilith's grade, we finally have one. I look over at Lilith and hand her the Hellspring water to keep safe. Then I take a slow, deep breath and draw the soul crystal core from the storage pouch at my waist. After a full night of rest, my psionic power is back to its absolute peak. Lilith is in good shape as well. She can stand watch for me while I do this. Now is the perfect moment to attempt unlocking the beast void. I sit cross-legged on the living room floor and rest the soul crystal core in my open palm. It is warm and smooth against my skin. Inside it, billions of stars seem to slowly slowly drift and turn, radiating a pure and boundless soul energy. Lilith stands close by, visibly tense, her slender fist clenching without her realizing it. She has already made up her mind. The moment she sees even the slightest sign of something going wrong during the absorption, she will rip that crystal away from me at any cost. I close my eyes and steady my breathing. Slowly I press the crystal core against the center of my forehead. A cool sensation meets my skin, sharp enough to jolt my mind awake. I channel my psionic power, dense and solid, into something thin, precise, and unyielding, like a probe, and let it carefully make contact with the crystal at my brow. A sound like nothing else, a resonance rising from the very depths of the soul, detonates inside my mind. In an instant, the deep blue crystal blazes with a breathtaking light, as if it has come alive. Then, the solid crystal begins to melt. It becomes a pure ghostly blue liquid and seeps into my forehead without losing a single drop. Boom. A force that far surpasses the limits of mortal rank. A terrifying psionic pressure erupts from my body without warning, sweeping through the entire room. Lilith's amber eyes snap into sharp focus. Her body instinctively goes rigid, locking into her highest state of alert. She can feel it clearly. The source of this force is the master sitting cross-legged before her with closed eyes. This psionic pressure is pure and overwhelming. It actually surpasses her own normal psionic strength. How is that possible? As a psionic-type bound beast herself, her psionic power is on a level that no ordinary human can even come close to. But right now, my psionic power is exploding in a way that defies all logic. My mind isn't just ringing, it is a world turned completely upside down. The ghostly blue force that was once the soul crystal core rushes into my inner world like a river breaking its banks. A flood of stars, wild and unstoppable. It tears and stretches and expands. I use every ounce of my focus to guide it, letting the raw, violent soul energy carve through me. Lilith watches with rigid attention. Her face shifts, flushing red one moment, draining pale the next. Fine beads of sweat break out on her forehead. She can feel that her master is going through a transformation beyond imagination. She cannot interfere. All she can do is stand guard. Time blurs. Then, a crisp, clean crack echoes through my consciousness. My inner world opens wide. Before me stretches a vast, silent, blue-violet void. Floating at its center, there is a luminous moon, radiating a soft silver glow. That moon is my soul's core. This is my beast void. I can feel it clearly. My psionic ceiling has risen by at least tenfold. And more than that, the contract link between Lilith and me is amplified countless times within this space. I can even hear Lilith's heartbeat right now, clear as if it is my own. Beneath the worry, beneath the tension, buried deepest of all, love. Back in the living room, the surge of psionic pressure that had erupted from me recedes like a tide, pulling back entirely into my body. My closed eyes slowly open. Deep within those dark pupils, something like a galaxy turns. Lilith rushes to me, her eyes scanning over me frantically, checking that I'm all right. I look at her face, filled with nothing but worry, and say nothing. I simply reach out and give her cheek a gentle pinch. Don't worry, I made it.